after having driven the i4, the M4 40i, you really have to wonder what's next. Well, the answer is here, the final boss of the 4 Series lineup. Welcome everybody to the 2025 BMW M4 Cabriolet, sorry, M4 Comp, which means it's the higher performance, much more aggressive, much more sporty version of the M4 in its roof down version. Let's see how this fun to drive sports car is. So what is the M4 Competition Cabriolet? Honestly, it's the 4 Series convertible, but turn it up to 11. As you can see, it's got flared out arches, bigger aggressive grills, much more aggressive ducts on the bumper, and you do have an aggressive design on the hood as well. Well, it has to, because other cars like the M4 40i have a B58 motor, which it's a gem of an engine, but this is the real deal. This is the S58, so this produces about 520 odd horsepower, is X-Drive, because the competition only comes in X-Drive. You can get the regular base M3 non-competition in rear wheel drive and with a manual gearbox, but this is X-Drive and it only has the 8-speed ZF gearbox. Otherwise, it's quite essentially the 4 Series, which means it's a convertible. You've got the nice silhouette on the side, and especially with the roof down, which, by the way, that's the only configuration I've been driving it. I think I've driven max 100 or 200 meters with the roof up. That's the whole point of Cabriolet, especially in the summer, right? So this is how exactly I've been driving it. Space in the back is just like a 4 Series, so you can put adults in the back. In fact, I've sat in the back just now prior to this shoot, and I could easily fit behind myself. The only downside for the Cabriolet compared to the coupe is that if you have the roof down, you have a severe compromised boot space, which if you do fold the roof up, you can actually fold that storage away and get access to the full boot, which I think can easily take in luggage of a 4-people trip inside this car, which I think makes it even more practical. As I said, this is X-Drive, so you can perhaps drive it all through the year if you really wanted to. And just look at it, you know on the road when you see it unmistakably that this is the M4, the big daddy, the final boss version of the 4 Series. And in this particular spec, I absolutely love it. So this is Laguna Green. It's a BMW individual paint. I think it's a $5,000 option. Then match it with the white interior, the ivory merino leather interior, which is another 4,000 something option, which is also very expensive. You do have the silver wheels, which is an option. So that also I really like, because otherwise cars these days are now, you know, just common on the road with black wheels. So this silver wheels, and you do have black silver exhaust tips as well on the rear, which I think looks very, very good. In fact, this paint has turned so much heads that I recently went to a Cars and Coffee, and there were much more significant, much more expensive cars, but I had lots of people asking me about this paint. That's how good it looks. The front grille, I know people are debating, most of the people don't like the way it looks, but personally for me, I think it's grown on me, and it does look very handsome, very aggressive, and it looks like it has 520 horsepower behind it. What can I say? Otherwise, it's just a competitive 4 Series in its most aggressive guise, which I think is a great platform to start. And honestly, it drives just as aggressive as it looks, but more on that in the driving part. I'm now behind the wheel of the 2025 BMW M4 Competition Cabriolet. So let's get the numbers out of the way. This has the famed S58 motor, so it produces about 520 odd horsepower. There's been a bump of I think 15 to 20 horsepower for the LCI. This only comes in X-Drive. You can get the base M3 non-competition in only rear wheel drive and with an optional manual. This only has the ZF 8-speed. So let's see how this car drives, but we have to do first things first. This being a convertible, I have to put the roof down, and it's a pretty smooth unit. You can do it up to I think 40 or 45 kph, which I think is very, very useful in city urban conditions. But if I put the roof back, this is the whole drama of the car. You get access to million miles of open air driving. And if I actually, let me put the windows up for wind noise, and if I floor it, let's try to see the launch control. I've not been able to activate it, but if I left foot to brake it, and if I pump up the thing, oh, and that's 0 to 100. Oof, that was 0 to 100 in a claimed 3.5 or 3.8 seconds. I believe them. I believe every single claim BMW makes. It's just amazing, and that wasn't even without launch control. So somehow I was not able to get the launch control to work. I've tried a few times, but it just didn't work. However, I can put it into M1 mode, and what I've done is you have the configurable steering buttons on the buttons on the steering, and M1 and M2. So for M1 I have everything in Sport Plus: the engine, the chassis, the engine, the steering, The exhaust valves are open, everything is aggressive except the suspension. That is in comfort mode. If I put it into M2, I have everything in Sport Plus, even the suspension, and it's only on manual shifting. So you can leave the car to do its own thing. You have multiple gearbox modes, so you can adjust the speed of the changes in normal D and in S mode as well. And in M2 I have it in manual, and oh, it's so much fun. I don't know if the mic is able to capture any of the exhaust noises this car is putting down, because yes, there is a bit of pumped in noise from the speakers, but there is actual audio noises behind you which actually sounds really good. I absolutely love the way this inline 6 sounds. If you enter into a corner and I have it in the sports setting, it actually handles so tightly. Front end is super sharp, and the rear end also stays with you. You can ask it to play around, yep, but it's so grippy. And the rear does want to step out if you are in slower corners, but you really have to work hard to make this car misbehave. You can only put it in rear wheel drive, so you have to toggle through the settings and turn off the traction control fully, which would allow you to send all the power to the rear, which is actually, well, you better be prepared because it is still 520 horsepower. And yeah, overall it's like super fun to drive, super nice to drive. And the best part, I can put the suspension back in comfort, dial it down a little, and you can use this as an absolute GT car, which I think is an added bonus that not many sports cars can provide. It's very comfortable, seats are very supportive, and you can actually, I would easily put in, I would say 800-900 kilometers in a day, because that's how easy it is to live with this vehicle. If I can take a quick U-turn, and I'll also see that the turning radius isn't the best, but it's so livable, and that's what I love about this car. You can absolutely hoon it, which I have done prior to this shoot. I took her on some of my favorite B roads. This car was an absolute monster. It was keeping up with cars much more faster, much more bigger in displacement, and this was doing it very easily, especially with the roof down. You can hear the engine, the wind, everything just adds to the drama, which enhances the driving experience. I'm sure the coupe is also really nice to drive, and purists will say that the coupe is the one to get, but honestly for me, I don't mind losing that bit of chassis rigidity for the open air experience. I mean, that flex in chassis is probably, you'll only see it on extreme track day driving, which I never intend to do. And you can just calmly cruise on your favorite roads with the top down, and it's so relaxing, it's so nice. The brakes have extremely great feedback. The paddles, I wish the paddles were aluminium. This plastic paddle shifters don't feel worth at this price point. They could have maybe perhaps given a better paddle shifter. See, I'm just turning it in comfort mode and it feels good, but I can put it to M2, drop down a gear. Oh, it's so fast. The front end is so grippy. Wow, what a car. I can put it back into M1 and just relax. It's so nice. I absolutely love this dual nature. And if you drive it sanely and just cruise on the highway, you can get about 9 to 10 liters per 100, which is, I think, again, it's an added bonus. You don't need fuel economy in a car of this. I shouldn't be talking about fuel economy, but it's an added bonus. And I've been averaging 21 liters per 100 in the city because I've been driving only in Sport Plus, and I've only wanted to hear the exhaust note all the time. So it's a me problem, but honestly, it's so good, and it's every bit of the car I expected it to be. I had notions, I was not sure, because people say the new M cars are heavier, slower, etc. Not in my books. I absolutely love it. And yes, this does feel like an incremental upgrade to the M2. Having driven the M2 a few weeks back, this is noticeably better, albeit for a higher price. In conclusion then, the 2025 BMW M4 Competition Cabriolet. Honestly, I've been waiting to get my hands on it, and now that I've lived with it over a week, I can say I've had so much fun. I think it drives fantastically well. It does everything you ask of. I think it's supremely fast. It handles really well. The X-Drive means that you're always protected, and you can winter drive it if you want. And if you do feel very lucky, you can put it in only rear wheel drive mode, which then obviously makes this car much of a hoonigan. It's extremely spacious for front passengers. On the rear, it's not the most spacious, but it can easily accommodate adults for short trips, or even mild shorter adults for longer trips, which I think is a very good added feature bonus for this kind of car. And just look at it with the roof down, it looks so good, the side profile. And this is when you truly see that the car is actually very spacious and very big. You do have the boot as well. Again, you have to work with the configuration if you want the extra space or not. And well, it's done literally everything I've asked for. Grocery runs, yes. Work trips, yes. Driving on B roads, perfect. Cruising on highways, commendable. Like, honestly, I've just been blown away. Coming to the price, and I have to pull out my phone like every BMW. So the base M4 Competition Cabriolet is 110,200. This has some options. So this has the premium package, which means it's got the Harman Kardon surround system, the drive recorder, the digital cockpit, the heads-up display, everything. That's $4,000. Then you do have the advanced driver assistance package, which is the adaptive cruise control, the lane control, the steering control, etc. That's $2,000. This paint is $5,000. I mean, look at it just in the sun. I might just pay for this price for this paint. It just looks so good. The white interior, that's $4,200. The ivory white full merino leather. The wheels, the silver wheels, are $750. I know that's silver, but look at the amount of brake dust the brakes leave out. I got this cleaned today in the morning, but I went for a long drive after that. But the silver wheels are $750. The M Sport brakes, which are blacked out calipers, I'm not sure if they're visible, they are $750 as well. The silver top, so the top on this is a silver finish, it's not blacked out, that is another $250. And the ventilated front seats, that's $900. Brings the total to $128, which is a bit on the steeper side for sure. But if you look in the market, there's really nothing else that goes up directly against this, because there is no C63 Cabriolet or Coupe anymore. The RS5, I'm not sure even if it exists anymore. So what else is there? There's nothing from Lexus, there is nothing from Acura or any other premium brand. So it's almost in a segment of its own. And well, if you are in the market to buy something fun to drive that can do practicality as well and looks aggressive and turns heads, this is your real option only. And if I were in the market, honestly, I'm just waiting to save up the money, because the moment I have the money, this car is a no-brainer.